Hey, what's up guys? RC Hobby Steve here. I want to welcome you back to my Axial scale build series. In today's episode 5, we will be working on some king shocks for my scale build here. Now I went ahead myself and did the first 3 shocks just so I don't run into problems when recording this video and making sure that the mod I'm doing to the shocks work perfectly fine. So here in front of me I have some king shocks. I believe these are 100mm shocks. And the simple mod I ended up doing was I took some Wraith shocks, the stock Wraith shocks. I took the shafts out, and the cool thing about this is the Wraith shaft has a washer on the top and the bottom, and it's held on by the nut rather than the C-clip, which I have sitting in here. Also, another cool thing that it does for your king shocks is obviously the gold shaft. So the reason I did this was because I don't know what it's called, that little white piece that's inside the shocks that lets the oil flow through. The washers prevent the oil from going through too quickly. So it gives it a much smoother ride, and you wouldn't have to add such a heavy oil weight in order to get a perfect performance. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. I have to take out the oil in this shock, get this shaft in here, and then change out this bottom spring. These bottom springs came from the dual stage icon shocks from I believe it was my deadbolt. So these are super stiff rather than the stock springs. You see, much stiffer. So I had those on the truck and they worked perfectly fine, but I want to see if I just run a stock setup and then work with the oils. Now I do have sitting over there my back bed with all my junk on the floor, painted up so that I can get it seated onto the back of my chassis. In the other episodes, if you haven't seen it yet, we were able to complete the wiring process of the truck, got the winches all set up. In the last episode, I got my lights all set up where they have to be. So I'm nearing the end of my build series. Just need to work on these shocks. Then next I have to put on the tires. I have to clean the tires, make sure I get that black paint off the tires. Might keep it just silver for the wheels, and if I could take it off, hopefully it does come off. If not, then I'll just have black wheels, it's fine. And then I need to connect the Holmes Hobbies BLE Pro ESC. You connect my Holmes Hobbies Pro BLE Trailmaster ESC to Castle Link on my computer. On my computer right now I have some Extreme Scale Performance playing in the background. Shout out to Josh, rock on. And get it all tuned up, make sure my endpoints are set on my DX4C, and then take it out for a test run, see if everything is running properly. So yeah, let's get started with this video, guys. Alright, so these 3 shocks still need to be filled with oil. I usually bring the retainer all the way up on each one and then fill them with oil as need be. Also, in order to do this mod, there is going to be an extra length at the bottom of the shock, so I ended up using some spacers that I had laying around, so that way the little beveled edge that's on this shaft doesn't get caught up in the hole with those washers inside. So this one is still pretty tough, I don't know why, but I might take it apart and put some oil in the little rubber gaskets that are inside. So actually, let me work on that now really quick. Just take the spring off. Let's check this out. I hope this viewing angle is okay with you guys. This is pretty dirty. Should have a brush laying around. It's always good to have one of these brushes laying around. Get all that gunk out of here. Alright. So I'm gonna get some oil, some simple oil. Actually, let me use this one because it's fairly light. So I don't know what oil weight this is, but the weight doesn't matter at this moment because I'm just adding a dab in here. Just to get it moving nice and smooth. So there you go. Now that fixes that, and then I can just bring the cap back down, tighten this up, and now it's moving nice and smooth. Then just put it back all together. There we go. Nice and smooth. Cool. Alright, so now to work on this shock. So of course, take it all out, take it all apart. Press to the side. Now we have our shock with our oil in it. I usually keep one of these, I buy one of these bowls here from Dollar Tree, dollar store, just to keep all my oil in. Unthread it from the body, and then remove the oil like so. Now I'm gonna take the bottom off. Pop this shaft right off. So this piece is gonna come off right here, and it's gonna go on to here. So we're gonna take this apart first, and then that's pretty much it. And then basically seat everything back in as you would normally. It's nice and smooth. Get your little spacer. This is the spacer I'm going to be using. Get it in there first, and then put the shock back together. Bam. I was going to use 32 and 35 weight. So 32 would be for the front, 35 for the rear. But I was thinking of 35 in the front and 40 in the rear. But I don't think I have enough 40 weight. So you know what? I'm just gonna go with 35. I do have 45, but I don't have enough of that either. Need some more oil. Anyways, I'll go with 32 in the front and 35 in the rear. So I'm gonna start with the 32 first. There you go, that's pretty good. And put the springs back together. And that's pretty much it. And you have a complete shock. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest, and we will get it installed into the truck. Alright guys, so I was able to finish the shocks all around. Now we're just gonna get to installing them onto the truck. Alright, so now that I got these installed, I am going to go off camera and install the rears, and then we're going to see the finished product with the tires on. Nice and smooth, just as I want it. Alright, so I'll be right back, and when I get back, we'll see how everything looks. Alright guys, so I am back, and I got the shocks all mounted up, front and rear. It's sitting real nice. I haven't put the tires on yet, so I don't know how it's going to be planted down, and I haven't put the body on with the tire, with the wheels either. So in the meantime, what I did do off camera was I did install this. I didn't paint the other side, I still have to do that, but I painted this side. I still need to get some cool accessories for the back, and I also mocked up some panels here so that way you don't see on the inside. I still have to paint this black because from the underneath of the truck you see all this white, so I'm gonna have to do something about this right here. I'll probably take a paintbrush because I do have some paint right here, and I can just take a paintbrush to it for the meantime. Alright, so cross the fingers, hoping everything fits perfectly. Perfect, just the way I wanted it to sit. Alright, so that's that. Put the balance plug right behind. Keep them tied up. Boom. Boom. So there we go. I have the battery seated inside. Just adjust this. There we go. I have the battery seated inside. There we go. And then basically the battery wire will sit sideways like that, and then we'll plug into there. So that's mainly the only thing you guys would probably see, but I can always hide this behind here. I'll probably screw another hole here so it's planted, but that's that. As you see with the battery, it does lean to the side a little bit, so I'm gonna have to adjust the preload on this side. Oh, sorry about that. I have to adjust the preload on this side of the shocks to compensate for the battery being on that side and it being so heavy. But other than that, liking the way this build is coming out so far. My next steps is to put the wheels on, and my next video would be to hook it up to Castle Link and get everything programmed to the settings I want it to be programmed to. So stay tuned for the next episode, and thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for the next couple episodes coming up. Peace.